Hey everybody, just a quick one today. I used to think of fictional worlds as being basically lists of things, and it impacted my games negatively. You know, in Star Trek you had the Romulans, the Klingons, how warp drive works. In Star Wars you have the Empire, you have the Jedi, the Sith, the history from before the movies happened. In X-Files you have aliens, ghosts, monsters, you know, all of these things that could be in lists or a wiki. But there was one fictitious universe that arrested me, because its name didn't make sense. I was actually in college by the time I heard the word Buffyverse. I know, right? And I was like, how is that a universe? Did Joss Whedon imagine Buffy versions of other planets? I mean, isn't this just the regular universe and then some weird stuff happens on Earth? And then I realized the Buffyverse isn't the list of monsters and how magic works and how vampires work. It isn't even the mythology that the Earth was once ruled by demons. The Buffyverse is a world like ours, balanced on top of these evil, ancient dimensions, and creatures sometimes break through the cracks. Right, you see the difference? Star Trek isn't the races, the history, and how technology works. Star Trek is scientific optimism and the values of tolerance triumphing in a galaxy that is full of life forms. Star Wars isn't the list of species, the history, and how the Force works. Star Wars is vintage kung fu movies mixed up with vintage space serials. Similarly, X-Files isn't the list of aliens and the history of the conspiracy. X-Files is conspiracy theories and urban legends are all true. There's this part in Chronicles of Narnia where they meet a star, and he looks like a wise old man with a long white beard. And they're surprised when they say, in our world, a star is a giant ball of burning gas. And the old star explains to them, even in your world, that's only what a star is made of. It's not what a star is. And whether or not stars in our world are anything beyond what they are made of is not really the point of this video. The point of this video is fictional universes are something beyond, deeper than what they are made of. So why does this matter? How would it impact your game? Well, realizing this about the Buffyverse came to my mind recently when I was running a Hercules game, like a 1960s Italian cinema style Hercules. And one of my players was like, can my character worship like older Lovecraft gods? Now, ancient Lovecraft gods aren't in that genre of cinema, so if I'd been doing the made of type thinking, I would have been like, no, you can't, that's not on my list. But because I was doing is thinking, I was like, okay, this game is Greek mythology in a lighthearted Hollywood setting. And Greek mythology includes elder gods, you know, titans and other chaotic forces, even monsters that were godlike and were put down by the Olympians. And Greece was surrounded by much older civilizations that worshipped different gods than they did. So I said, yeah, you can. And internally, I'm thinking what a Lovecraft god and his associated cult would look like translated into 1960s cinema. You know, very cartoonish. And externally, I'm applauding him, but this is a cool touch. This is going to be interesting. See, with made of thinking, you run the risk of preparing a lot of stuff in your lists of things that you're never going to get to, over-preparing, and at the same time being underprepared when your players ask, can I do this? And it's not on the list, and you're like, we all know that feeling. But with is thinking, if you can get it nailed down, those one or two things that this game world is, then you're going to be able to answer those player questions more easily. Yes, no, or here's how we're going to have to modify it. And you're going to be able to generate all the things that would have been on that list anyway as the need comes up. Because when you know the rules of what your game is, that's like the seed for coming up with all of the made of. So spend time developing those rules. They're more foundational than the stuff. The stuff can come later. That's it for Writer Vlog today. Leave me a comment with what do you do when you're creating a new game world? What are the things you do and don't do as you're creating a fictional universe? And if you're looking for a tool for outlining game worlds and the stuff that goes in them, check out this video. Part of a series I'm doing on the only 5 tools you need to write a campaign. So check it out, subscribe, happy gaming, and I'll see you next time.